freely. And sometimes it takes it to another level where it's just based, just kind of just teasing, man. So I just feel like right now the state of where women are and what's acceptable.
Good evening. Let's talk. And this is Conversations with Friends. What episode we at, Melodic? I don't forgot. Is it episode 8?
This is episode 8.
Wow.
Ooh.
Episode 8 of Conversations with Friends. And tonight we have a good topic that we want to discuss. And the topic is Black love. We have a beautiful couple here on our panel. We have Professor Drea, who always never want to put her title up there. We have Melodic and myself. So,
Welcome, everybody.
welcome everyone.
Thank you for having
Everybody good? Everybody smiles. Beautiful weather, I guess, for everybody where everybody live, respectively.
Ooh, it's hot out here. It's hot.
me. Same can be
How's,
on.
how's that Alabama, Professor?
It's like
Wow.
90 plus degrees here.
Yeah,
so
we right next door in Georgia. It's 90 plus over here
right,
too.
exactly. So it's burning up.
Great, great. Well, the first, as we know, the title is Black Love. And what we want to do, right, is just ask everybody before we get into the gist of the show to describe Black love. Um, Melodic, you want to go first?
I can. Oh, black love to me. Oh, black love to me is beautiful, honestly. It's about camaraderie, having someone that understands you on different levels. And when someone actually can experience the experiences that you've had and relate to them, I feel like it's more intimate, it's deeper. I feel like, we're all teammates. And with black love, to have someone who can understand the things that you go through, the things that you aspire to be, I think that's beautiful.
Uh,
I'd agree.
Definitely.
Drea?
Black love is equals black family, the black man, woman, and child. Also, to being in collaboration, teammate, partnership for life, combining two backgrounds, which is kind of tough, to create black love. Actually, going through the ebbs and flows of life together and not giving up. I think that's definitely black love. Also, too, is that your great grandparents, parents love that old school love. That feeling that you get. When they come through the door. They may get on your nerves, but you're still working through, whatever issues that is. So that's how I think of black love.
D and Chic?
I would say black love to me means strength and resilience. What you think?
Definitely. I would say strength, resilience, and just growing together, making each other better. Making a corporation, I would like to call it, together, like making that foundation where nothing can stop y'all.
I'll describe Black Love. It's funny because I was able to share some things with Melodic yesterday about my crazy thought process about Black Love. And I believe that, not to go too far away from the topic, but I believe Black Love has to first be established with the individual, because then you could meet somebody and y'all be so off kilter because your understanding of Black Love and their understanding of Black Love is not the same. So I think that once a person has love for, as people would say, knowledge of self, or being self aware of what
Mhm.
Black people means to them, and what their family, and having that culture and having that understanding of the woman for as a man says for understanding what a woman really has to deal with in America, a black woman has to deal with in America, and then being able to understand his mate better because of what she goes through, definitely dealing with corporate America and
Yes.
being able to be her ear and so forth and so on. So, you
Amen.
know,
Sometimes your significant other does not need you to chime in. They just need you to
Mhm.
hear them.
Right.
yeah, and it's funny, Dion, is that one of the things that melodic and I share a lot of things with me and Dre is good friends, and me and melodic is good friends and partners with the show. Is one of the things that we both agree with when I talk to both of them is that a lot of times people just don't listen to each other.
Nope.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like you saying something, but you're not listening to the person that's talking to you. So,
Hmm.
you guys, I appreciate you guys, D and Sheik, for being transparent and allowing yourselves to come on here and give us some
Right.
Mhm.
insight as a couple
Yes.
to the dynamic of black love and
Thank
Absolutely.
how, like Drea said, the ebbs and flows, and because sometimes when you ask somebody to come on a panel like this, people tend to think that it has to be a perfect situation going on,
Mhm.
Right.
and human beings are imperfect. So
Yes.
Nothing perfect in life,
marriages,
and I know marriage is definitely not perfect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When you go through your ups and downs, but it makes it so much better when you get to that point where it's like you have nothing to worry about. Yeah, I could look at my wife and just be on the same page without even saying a word to her. We
Mhm.
just feed off each other that way. Our energies match.
Mhm.
great, great. Well, I got one question for you, D. I'm gonna put it up here in 1 second. Black love, I feel that the connective vibe of two souls resonating on a higher frequency, grounded and balanced. Okay, King.
Right.
Mhm.
Dwayne said, "Good evening, good people." Good evening, Dwayne.
Good
Good
evening. Good
evening.
evening.
Good
And
evening, everybody that's joined in.
There you go, D and Sheik.
Me and Dion has been married for 12 years. We've been married for 12 years.
Wow.
Make 13 in February.
Yay! Thank you.
I mean, it's just some basic questions. You ain't, So, what are some of the pointers on keeping a marriage healthy and committed?
Um,
Spending time together, always being respectful of your partner. You don't want to ever cross that line and say something that you can't take back in a moment of anger. Learning to negotiate and work through conflicts.
for me, it's the two C's: compromise and communication.
Right.
Well, let me ask you, Dion, because your wife said negotiate. You said compromise.
Hmm.
Explain, if you don't mind. Explain a scenario where you would think that you would have to compromise something that you really passionate about, but you got to compromise because it
I'm
doesn't.
big on sports. I'm big on sports. My team is the Warriors. We in the finals right now. I know that I have to have everything in the house done if I want to be able to watch that game peacefully. So I'm gonna make sure everything is done in the house so I can watch that game peacefully.
It's interesting you said that because I, take out that garbage because in my area garbage night is tomorrow. We'll pick up tomorrow, so I got to take the garbage out. I got to do a bunch of stuff before the morning comes because the morning comes very quickly.
Yes.
So,
Indeed.
Sheik, if you don't mind, could you explain what is negotiating like?
So prior to, living on our own and just being our own force, we had help from our community, which was heavily, my mother-in-law. She always used to tell me because I used to be like raw all the time and just super aggressive. So she always
Raw.
used to tell me like, just pick and choose your battles. So I learned to pick and choose my battles and just negotiate with that. Everything doesn't have to be an argument, especially if this is supposed to be your partner, your life partner. This is
Right.
how you're supposed
exactly.
to,
You
Right.
move through life with different stages. So you can't always be at odds with that person.
well, Sheik,
Absolutely.
you opened up Pandora's box, and I think that you opened up Pandora's box just now. I'm letting you know right now. And I think that all of us can relate to being married and then being married to that person's family as well.
Indeed.
And that could have good vibrations or that could be disaster. And I know you said that you and your mother-in-law were very close and she explained to you like pick and choose your battles. How were you open to her explaining that to you?
Yes, because she never came from a place of malice. It was always, she always wanted to see us succeed and she always wanted to see us do well. So I was never reluctant from taking advice from her. Now, if it was someone else who I wasn't on good terms with, I might have been a little bit, like, oh, mind your business. You don't know what you're talking about. But I never thought that she had any malicious intent. She always was happy that we were together and she always wanted to see us do well and always celebrate the little achievements that we did do. And
That's
You know,
awesome.
I could. It's funny you said that, Sheik, because I can identify with that with my son. When his grandmother was living, her mother, she was like my biggest supporter.
mhm,
She was, and she explained to me. She said, regardless of what goes on between you and my daughter, I need you to be the best man possible for my grandson.
Hmm.
Right.
And it's funny because she had that rapport with me, and then when my son's mother moved on, we were on our separate ways. She even had that rapport with her fiance.
Mm.
Like be like just talking to him about being a man of the house and stuff like that. And I never got offended by it. I never been like, oh, she prying, she all in my business. Like, and I don't think he did too. And I think that's key to um the village concept that a lot of us agree with.
Absolutely. You have to have respect for your elders because, in all
Hmm.
honesty, they've been here, done that.
Right.
mhm.
Drea, let me ask you. Oh, Drea, I don't, I know your situation. I know you know, you my ace in the hole, man. And it's like, you were married to
Mhm.
someone that wasn't African American from a different
Right.
culture.
Exactly.
So, if you don't mind, could you explain to us the the just the cultural things that you had to learn and get to understand?
And definitely. So I have to start off with this. I had the privilege of being married for 11 years and my divorce will be finalized in August. So known this person pretty much my whole life and married someone who was part of the Nigerian culture. So that was very tough for me, being from Boston and my parents are from Alabama. So merging those two cultures together is very differently. The way that we handle conflict, the way that we even handle elder, just if they have to move in the home, visiting, all the way down to foods, right? How to prepare different foods. So um, you learn that it's interchangeable, but at the same time too, it's a big difference
Mm,
versus, they really believe in like the village is everything and that a lot of times like the mother-in-law kind of interject when she's not supposed to interject. So you have to have a lot of boundaries. So, I have practiced a lot of boundaries when it came to that. Also, too, just even with my family, being from the South, we have family reunions, we have family day, and people want to, embrace you. And, merging that culture as well, even also too when it comes to rearing children or just even big celebrations. Because when I got married, it was like we had like three weddings in one. You have to learn the traditions, you have to learn the different tribalism and different things of that nature. So that was kind of tough, but I enjoy learning about the Nigerian culture and just even too, sometimes you saw certain things like, nah, we don't do that here in the States. Like that's kind of different. And just even with communication, because
mm.
communication is universal, but at the same time too, it was just a lot of learning. And I'm
Right.
still constantly learning despite us not being together anymore. So it's a beautiful thing. You just once again when you're brought up differently, you have to learn how to merge two cultures together, even though you may have the outer look of being in blackness, but some people have a different terms when it comes to black love and blackness within itself.
And you
Right.
and Drea, we've been doing this a long time together, and you segue right into the next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you say communication is in a successful union?
A 20. 20. If
A 20?
you're not on the same page, nothing works.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially not only when you're married, but when you bring kids into it. Let me tell you something. Kids will put you against each other. They
Absolutely.
they gonna act. You got to be on the same page because you'll have one. They'll come to one of us and be like, "Daddy, can I have this?" And we'll say no, and then they'll go to her and, "Mommy, can I have this?" And if she says yes, then it can be an argument that shouldn't have been because it's like I told them no. Well, all right, I didn't know, and so that's why you have to communicate. You have to communicate.
Right.
And you also have
I'm
to remember that.
I'm gonna ask you guys.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do you think that when we talk about communication, and I may be like, we don't need to communicate on the small things. D, how would you feel if I said that everything is not small, right? Everything is big. Nothing is small, right?
Nothing small. You got to communicate on everything. If you're trying to build together, you got to communicate on everything.
Mhm.
Whether when I'm at work, I make sure my wife work from home. I make sure I tell her every time, "Hey, look, I'm doing some overtime," and I make sure it's not on the day of.
Right.
I gotta
Right.
let me know a couple of days beforehand that y'all need me to do overtime because my real boss is at home.
Yeah,
So that he
and
knows.
and I'm quite sure your supervisor at work be like, D, do you need to make a call first before you let me know? Could you stay?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
They already know. They already know.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that
you can't make any decisions on your own when you're
Mhm.
in a marriage
Right.
or
because
a
the
committed
decisions
relationship
affect
or a
everybody.
marriage.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no I in team.
Mm-mm.
how did you create a safe space for communication in your relationship?
I'll let you go first with that one.
Um, well, creating a safe space for communication in marriage comes with coming to the table, with making a conscious effort to watch my tone and to be an active listener because everybody can hear what you're saying. If you're an active listener, you can appropriately, you can actively listen and respond appropriately instead of just hearing what he's saying and then that's the argument. You have to actively listen. That's a skill, and not a lot of people possess that skill.
So I agree with that, and I'll add to that. So, like for me, I had to learn that she's not going to agree with everything I have to say, but it has to be said because I've had the problem of, look, I know this is gonna make her mad, so I'm gonna just keep it to myself because I ain't trying to deal with that. And that goes back to the communication thing. So it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I got to just let it be known, and she'll be mad now, but I know she loved me, so she'll get over it, and we'll be all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like the theory of if I say something, it's gonna lead down the rabbit hole. So I'm gonna just be quiet and
Mm.
take the L,
Right.
hold my feelings and my view in
Mhm.
because I don't want it to lead to something else. Like you said, D, the game come on 9 o'clock. If I start talking now, it's quarter to nine. I'm not gonna watch 10. And D, we think all types of things in our head as sports fans. If I don't watch every second of the game, my team gonna lose.
Oh no, that's a fact. The other day I missed half of the game, and I was like, "That's why we lost because I wasn't able to stay up for this game." That's
Yeah,
how I feel about that.
You and Steph, huh?
Me and
Lord have
Steph,
mercy. Oh
me and
God.
Steph, been watching that man since he was in college.
well, I'm gonna play something,
Mhm.
and I want everybody to tell us what we think.
People don't always marry the everyday. They marry the kind of now, kind of wow. And then it gets to the every single day. The going to bed, the waking up, the taking the grocery, getting the groceries, taking out the garbage, and loving each other through that. And I remember telling a friend of mine who was about to get married, I said, your marriage doesn't start when you say I do. Your marriage starts when you look over at your partner and you want to kill them. You looking at them going for seconds or sometimes minutes or longer. You're thinking, I cannot believe I married this human being. They are driving me crazy. And then the next minute you say, I love them more than anything and I'm sticking with it. Marriage is a commitment. And people don't understand what commitment means. It's like our profession of acting. You see someone after 20 years going, oh, I want to get out of it. I'm rejected all the time and it's hard. And people say I'm not cute enough or I'm not this. And you get angry. It wears away at your spirit. But when you go through all of that, one of the things you have to remember is commitment is total. That means even with the hard times or whatever, the agreement that you made that you're going to stick with each other means that even when it gets hard, you basically, you almost die to yourself when you get married. You die to yourself. You die to, not that you don't have your own needs, but your needs have got to meet the needs of the whole. They do. That's the agreement. And so I understood that when I got married. That's what I understood. Actually, that was one of the sayings at our wedding. There is but one degree of commitment, total. That's it. He gives 100%, I give 100%, not 50-50.
You get married to somebody, you're singular, he's singular. You come together.
Yeah.
And then there's two in one.
That's right.
And so then when you really, really get to that stage of where you understand that love's got to be intertwined, those hearts have to be intertwined.
And that's probably not politically correct, but I'm sorry, that's what life is all about. When my dad passed away, part of my heart passed away with him, and it's never coming back. I feel the same way about Julius. I feel the same way about my child. It's one heart. They are completely entwined in my spirit. Absolutely. When you see the imperfections of your spouse, that one thing you thought you'd never marry, that one thing that turns you off, that one thing may never change, ever.
Well, everybody speak at once.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what they said. One thing I will say though is it can become a slippery slope if you don't have some of that singleness, because if you make everything about the family, you lose yourself. You still have to go out and enjoy yourself, do the little things that used to make you happy before you were married, because if you don't, your spouse wants to see you happy, your significant other wants to see you happy. So if your life is just the marriage, the kids, the family, you're not going to be happy, because that can't fulfill you
Right.
all the way.
Right.
But I tell my wife all the time, go on a girl trip, go out with your friends. You need that. I need that. We both need that.
That's like creating like you said, creating a separate space, but still together.
Yes.
Being able like for some, being able to both be in the house at the same time. I know you in the house, but I don't need to see you. I don't need to, there's some people that don't like to cuddle. I don't need you to be all up under me. We ain't got to do all that. As long as I know you're here and you're safe, it's okay.
We do it all the time. I could be playing 2K and she'll be right there.
Right.
Won't say a word to me, but I know she's there and she know I'm there.
Right. I think you need to have your own individualism to a certain extent. Yeah. I think you need to understand that, this is a collective, but I still have things that interest me and you still have things that interest you. In all honesty, a lot of married couples, especially the ones that have been together for a really, really long time, these are older couples. When one of them passes away, they're so used to being with that person and so codependent on that person that the other one usually passes rather quickly after the first one passes, because they die from a broken heart. Their heartstrings are broken. So, I definitely feel like, you do have to have a separate existence outside of your marriage, because nobody wants to be suffocated.
Right. Exactly.
You got to give each other time to miss each other.
Yep, that's true.
Say it again.
How important it is to you incorporate a date and quality time within your marriage? Does that make each party feel wanted?
Yes. You have to have a date night, or not even a date night. Sometimes you just need a date weekend. We need to go away and be by ourselves, away from everybody, just to get to know each other more. Because I don't care how long you've been together, you still gonna learn new things about your significant other. Because if you're not, then that ain't the person for you.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, if you're not, your significant other is not growing, and I mean, I think both people need to be growing within the relationship and outside of the
Yeah.
relationship. To you bring things to your partner, you teach each other.
And it's so easy to get complacent in the day to day, going
Right.
being with the kids, fixing,
Mhm.
doing laundry, that you get lost in that day to day. So you have to remind yourself to go on dates and put the phones away and just reconnect on that personal, level. Sometimes I see people out at restaurants and they're on dates, but they still on their phones. So how are they
Oh yes,
That's
they're not
annoying.
present. They're not
Yeah.
present.
They're not present and connecting with one another.
That's one of her
Exactly.
rules. If we go out, I cannot touch my phone. She's like, "Give me your phone. I'm putting it in my bag. We need to
Mhm.
talk. Let's have a conversation." And so that's some of the best conversations when y'all just with each other, just throwing things at each other.
Yeah,
Right.
you want to
Right.
take off the mom t-shirts and the yoga pants and get dressed up and go out with the person you were, fell in love with before you had kids or before you had businesses with and before you had, life with. Just reconnect.
Now, I'll say this: Melodic knows this. My wife knows this. I'm not big on the dress up thing, but she be making me sometimes. I do that. Look, I am a sweatpants and some slides. I like to be comfortable.
Slides.
Not the slide.
All right.
Slides.
Exactly.
Like she's like, it's been times where we was going to eat and she'll see me and she's like, "No, you're not doing that."
Right.
Put some shoes on. Look, I'm gonna keep. I wear a size 17 shoe. I like to wear my slides because they're comfortable. She's like, "Look, you're gonna be a little uncomfortable today."
Right.
I think that speaks about like you said, you're comfortable with when you get off work, you at home, you in your space, got to run to the store, whatever. You're so comfortable with what you're doing, like at the end of the day, like yo, you got a restaurant, you can't be.
Right.
Now I
Right.
think that well, lack of better words, your protection mode is always on, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe everybody else may not know your protection mode. Maybe you'd be like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
you a little too comfortable with slides on, and I find myself doing the same thing. Dion, like, yo, I wear Crocs a lot, and when I mean, sometimes I'll put them in my work truck and be like, as soon as I get off the work truck, gotta throw these on. But at the end of the day, like that's a comfortable thing for us leaving that workplace alone and
That's a fact. I work security, so I'm on
Oh
my
yeah,
doing stuff all
yeah.
day. So my slides is the most comfortable thing in the world.
You
Right.
take a uniform off when you leaving.
That's a fact. I'm taking the tag off, the badge. I'm like, look, y'all can have this.
Hilarious. I have a question. So, how important is it for you to actually say, you know what, I want to get dressed up, like, and put on formal wear? Like, hey, I want to wear a evening gown or a ball gown. Let's go to, an upscale restaurant or event. Because I feel like it'll help. It'll help us to connect on another level as well. How important is that to you guys?
I think it's very important, especially here lately, with the whole pandemic and stuff. I found myself suffering from mom guilt, right? So I noticed, like, okay, well, I don't want to send my kids to I don't want to let myself go from my kids because everything going on in the world. I have to take a step back and realize, like, if I'm not okay and we're not okay, then it's going to trickle down to them eventually. So
Right.
I enjoy, putting on a nice wig and putting on a nice dress and going out and just being with him, opening ourselves up to different crowds or different groups and just immersing ourselves in different cultures and things like that.
Do you feel like that makes you feel more desired by your mate?
Yeah, who don't want to get dressed up?
Right.
Because when you had like a kid hanging off your leg for years and holding t-shirts, you like.
I make a game out of it.
Sometimes when you do get dressed up, you forget how. Oh my goodness, I forgot I had these curves. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I make a game out of it. Like she said with the wigs, I name all her wigs. This one right here, this is Jade. This is Jade. So.
I love it.
Hilarious.
I think that is important to do. Like I don't know if D would agree with me. Sheik, you better not be messing up his basketball days. Because you got to think about creative. You got to be creative, right, D, to
Mhm.
do things to spice things up. I mean, I kind of can identify with you with a lot with not wanting to dress up all the time. Like, yo, man, I ain't beat for all that.
That's a fact.
So with that, like for you, like when you see something, D, like you want to do something special that you got to kind of convince Sheik to do. How do you like that negotiating that you guys talked about? How do you go about doing
So
it? Like, yo, I gotta
with
get her to do
her,
this.
I don't really have to negotiate with her. She knows
Right.
me
Right.
very well.
Right.
So like she knows my sports teams. She
Mhm.
knows what I'm into. So recently, about 2 months ago, I'm a big anime fan too. So they
Mm.
had a big anime event out here. She sent me something on the phone. She screenshot me, and let me say, she texts me all day while I'm at work and stuff. So sometimes I don't get right to the text, and she kept texting me. She was like, "Can you look at your phone?" I'm like, "I'm at work." But I finally looked, and she had bought me tickets to an anime event out here, and it was just like, I just wanted to do something special for you.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So I don't really have to do that with her. She's taking me to football games without me knowing. She took me to a wrestling event. Now we went together. We didn't stay because she was like, "Yeah, this is the wrestling thing you could do by yourself. This ain't for me." We've been,
Yeah, yeah, because
Wait, tell them she bought you a smoker.
yeah, she bought me a smoke. Actually,
Okay.
I smoked some ribs yesterday.
Nice.
Good.
She made me put it together.
First of all, I didn't make her put it together. I was at work and I had overtime, and I was like, I got to get this thing together when I get off. And she took it upon herself to say, "I know you're tired, and I know you want to relax when you get home, so I'm gonna put it together for you."
Nice.
And I was like, "All right, cool. You want to put it together for me? You go ahead and put it together."
wow. Yeah,
Who am I to stop her from being?
From being great, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes when we my illustrious co-host, when we decide to do a show, right? We try to figure out how the show gonna go. I gotta veer off topic a little bit, melodic. So we try to figure out how the show gonna go. So the show is kind of flying, you guys.
Mhm.
I do got one more question. It's more like an ending question, but like I don't want it to end. But it's like you guys.
Look, we can freestyle it. Those some other
Okay.
stuff.
What you know what,
I'm with
Q?
it.
I would like to incorporate a question into the series in front of that last question that we have. Okay.
Okay.
So my question to you is, how did your relationship change once you went from being married to married with children?
Mhm.
Whew. Whew. It took a while. Like them date nights, they went away for a while.
Mm.
Okay.
And it was tough at first because it was like, especially with the first, every parent with that first child, y'all, you a little extra. You a little extra. No, I don't want my kid to be around anybody. But it took a while, and we finally got to the point where we had to sit down with each other and was like, "Yo, like I don't know you anymore. Like all we know is our child." Then when the second one, like a lot of people don't know, our second child was born very, very early. So that it was like we weren't having a second kid. It was like the first kid all over again because we had to learn, and definitely didn't want anybody to be around him.
Right.
And it took some time, and then we finally, I'll say, like like I said, we've been married for 12 years. Those first couple of years, we were still figuring each other out and figuring out this whole thing we call life together. And I finally feel like about, what would you say, year 5, year 6, we was like, okay, we got this. We know.
They say year 5, you get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you just have to have that conversation when the house is empty and the kids are gone. It's just us. So we have to learn how to do things without the kids. We have to learn how to love each other without being just their parents,
We had a great accomplishment yesterday. My wife became my spades partner. It was a big thing for 12 years. I would tell her all the time.
See, now you asking for trouble, D. You asking for trouble.
Oh no, we did it. We won all the games we played
That
together.
was
And
up.
I told her, I was like, yo, you can't be my partner in life and not my spades partner. And yesterday I finally talked her into doing it, and we did that. I was like, okay.
Cool.
Let me ask you guys a question in regard to when you have like a personal project that you might want to do.
Mhm.
Like you may have like a dream or a goal that you want to accomplish personally, but it takes away time as a collective. Um, how does that do you guys should when you say D, if I asked you like, yo, you're gonna do this, how do you explain to Sheik like, this is something I've been really thinking about doing. I'm gonna pursue it, and I need your support, and it's gonna take away from her time.
That's great. A great question because we deal with that
every day.
because my wife is so creative. She she started her own business. She's a baker. She creates shirts so I support her in every way. I bought her a heat pressing machine. I bought her an inkjet printer so she could print the stuff on the shirts. Any baking stuff she want, I'm there for that. I told her, look, take off. Your mind is crazy. I don't mind being a stay-at-home dad. I'll do it. I cook, I clean. I don't care. I will do it. I am very secure in myself. So I do that for her all the time. And then I've been in security for over 14 years. And I just feel like I'm done with it. So I'm taking the steps to go into different
secure your future.
Yeah.
So if he ever tells me that he wants to do something, like he wants to write a book, so I bought him a laptop. I try to encourage him to do what he wants to do as well, because I feel like we were put on this earth for a bigger purpose, not just to be security or just to be,
Absolutely.
working at my job as an insurance agent. You know what I mean? So I feel like we were put on this earth to do bigger things, and every challenge that we have been presented, we overcame it.
Yes.
So when we overcome such big challenges, I'm like, well, I don't think anything is impossible. So if you want to be the next, what's the Harry Potter lady? I don't know her name, so don't shoot me in the comments. But you could be her. You could do your own books. You can whatever you desire.
Is that CK Well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.K. Rowling.
J.K.
I'm on to the Percy Jackson books.
Yeah, we know she got the initials in the name, right?
Right.
But yeah, so we support each other on everything. Like we started a YouTube channel together. She was like, "Yo, babe, our everyday life is hilarious. Let's do this. It's money to be made there. Let's not just wait on one income. Let's have different streams. Let's make this happen." I was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." Like if you think that we can do this, I put all my faith in her. Nice. Whatever she feels we can do, I'm with it. Like.
And you have to remember that it's okay to sacrifice a couple of years, because a couple of years from, in the past, 2 years ago, you wouldn't expect to be here today. You know what I mean? So it's okay not to be selfish and sacrifice that time to get to where you want. We're setting up generational wealth for my kids. So when we're not here physically, they're okay.
Wow, you guys are amazing. And I brought that up. That question up because, when I decided to do certain things, I didn't realize I had to not just tell my immediate family, I didn't tell everybody, because it was a sacrifice on everybody's part. And I think that when you guys talk about that, definitely a baking, that's up my alley a little bit. As long as you don't bake cakes with fondant, we all right.
She do all types of cakes.
Oh, fondant. Oh, don't get me started with that.
She do all types of cakes. I be in heaven sometimes. I need you to taste it. Yes.
You are the official taste tester.
Exactly.
My youngest is starting to try to take my place. I'd be like, hey, wait a minute now.
Yeah. What they call it, D, you gotta expand your palate.
Yeah. Yeah. She makes all different types of things, and I'm with it. I'm like, look, all right. As long as it's not spicy, I'm good with it. I don't do the spicy. So.
Yeah, so basically she's that has that creative personality. So at any given moment she could just, I got an idea.
Yep.
And you
roll with it.
It's all the time. And it's a lot of things, like even with the food thing, like she doesn't like to spend money on food. She's like, I know I could cook. So we don't spend money on Chinese food because she done made her own recipes for Chinese food. She can make bourbon chicken,
Nice.
chicken and broccoli. I be loving it. I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really good. One thing, D, I've been exposed to people like Melodic being a poet and other artists, like even Drea. Um, Artists are people that can't be constricted.
At
You
Hmm.
got to
all.
just let
Mm.
them just,
At
Gotta
all.
flow. Gotta let them
At
go
all.
and
At
and
flow.
just
all.
all you could do is just be supportive. And really, they kind of pushed me. They kind of made me think always have the wheels turning.
Yeah.
So
That's right. That's right.
that's definitely a thing.
That's what made me want to leave security because I'm like, yo, she got all this stuff going on. What am I doing? I'm out here
Mhm.
patting
Right.
people down and
And
Right.
you gotta
Yeah.
Right.
remember, if
Right.
you wouldn't have been given the vision if you
Mm.
couldn't have carried out the plan, you know? So
Right.
Well, and you're always going to think, what if you don't,
Mhm.
if you don't capitalize on your dreams, in all honesty.
True.
I think
Um,
I got complacent too because I was a big football player. Like I had a scholarship, and then when
Mhm.
I blew my knees out, it was like, where do I go from
Mm.
here? Like,
Right.
I'm big. Security is there for me. They gonna hire me, so
Mhm.
right.
I just stuck with it. It was something I knew I could always get a job in. So,
Yeah, you
and
you want
Right.
you one of the guys that I call a walking security guard. When you automatically just a big guy, like everybody always look at you as the muscle. Like,
yeah, yeah, and
Right. And
it was
I think to a certain extent also, I think to a certain extent you always like, Dion likes discipline. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like,
a structure.
structure. He likes discipline. He likes structure. So and we have a lot of law enforcement officers in our family. So I think more than anything, he admired that to a certain extent.
I mean, it kept me on the straight and narrow too.
Right.
Growing up in New York, it's a lot of things that can pull you the wrong way. So that
Mhm.
structure and that discipline kept me on the straight and narrow. Now
Right.
it did take my wife like telling me, "You are so much more than that. You could do
Mhm.
so much more
Right.
than that," to make me like, "All right,
Right.
you're right. I can. I can."
Exactly. Like
So
she's pushing you into your purpose and intentionality. And I think so many times we forget that we have a bigger purpose besides what we're doing currently. So that's
Right.
awesome that she saw the vision for you and say, hey, you can, this is your purpose. This is what you should go through and be supported by it.
yes,
Right.
my wife has always told me I'm a big people person. Like
Right.
Mm,
Right.
mm,
she's like, yo, you make friends everywhere. You don't even you just be like the other day we went to take my 5-year-old to her first kindergarten, like to see the class and stuff. And the dude was sitting next to me and he was just like, hey man, let me show you this on my phone. I'm like, all right, cool. And sometimes she'll look at me like, if you don't cut it out.
well, I have one last question. This
Mhm.
is for all of us, I guess. Share some words of wisdom with our audience to help sustain Black love. I had to cut that question a little short because it was more than 200 characters. Melodic, you have the whole question, right?
I have the whole question. If you would like me to read it, I will.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. So, D and Chic, you were asked to be a part of this panel because the vibes from your Black love are so strong. We can see it, we admire it, and the existence of your Black love is a blessing to us all. Will you please share some advice, words of wisdom with our audience to help them sustain their Black love?
You wanna go first?
When when getting married or just being in love with somebody, you don't even have to join into marriage. You always have to remember and be open to loving more than one person. For example, when marriage is a lifetime commitment. So when you marry that person, they're not going to be the same person you married yesterday or 10 years from now. The goal is to evolve. The goal is to grow. And if you find that person to grow with, you grow into the person that you both aspire to be. You guys are not going to be that same person. So just be open. And I'm happy that he's not the same person that I married 13 years ago. So,
I think you gotta learn like one thing about black love or any love is to
yeah.
just accept the person flaws and all. because I forget what movie it was, but that 80-20 rule is real. It is real. So you have to accept them flaws and all. You're not gonna like everything about the person you're with because you're not gonna like everything about anybody. It's always
Right.
gonna be something that bothers you about somebody else. And another thing is to keep the romance new. Do stuff that like I like to. My one of my big things for my wife is I know she loves flowers, so I know she loves cards. So it don't have to be a special occasion. I'm gonna buy you some flowers. I'm gonna buy you a card. She loves Ferrero Rochers. I'm gonna buy you that big pack of Ferrero Rochers. Even though I'm gonna eat most of them, I'm gonna still buy it for you. So it's just like stuff like that. Run her a bubble bath. You know what I mean? Give her a massage. You don't got to go to the masseuse. I could be your masseuse. I'll massage you. I'll give you. If you tense, that's what I'm here for. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Little things like that. Some when you've been married as long as us, something could be romantic as making that bed up for her.
Right.
Mm,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
mm.
Little things like that. Like me, I'm not a big bed maker. I'm like I'm gonna sleep in this bed again. But my wife liked the bed made up, so I'm gonna make the bed up. So,
Oh,
D, all I
goodness.
can say is you're not alone. That's all I can say. Never feel like it's just you, D. I think it might
mhm.
be to all of our mankind.
You can't mess up the decor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
this is something.
I will say this. So, both of them are really good bakers. So I just want to put my dibs in. So when you decide to open that bakery, I will volunteer to be the official taste tester over here. So okay, just putting that out there.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I bake too. You don't get to
Oh,
be my
nice.
size without baking or knowing how to cook a little bit. So
Cool.
I I dabble, but I
Well,
would say she's like more creative with the like making the
Yes.
frosting look
Design
right
and
and stuff
stuff.
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
She
I'm
Nice.
gonna just
decorates
tell you
them
that.
really
I'm gonna just tell you,
beautifully.
D.
Awesome.
Dre is a traveler, and y'all neighbors. She moves around. Even though her name is Brown Girl from Boston, she lives right next door to you guys.
You
Oh
know what?
yeah.
I just
And
read.
Drea,
I love
Drea.
cakes and
I was getting ready to
cookies.
say, Drea, do you like cake too?
I sure do. I will travel wherever for some good cake
Listen,
and
let me
pastries.
tell you
I'm
something.
here.
She makes these peanut butter and jelly cupcakes.
Oh.
I started making them for my nephew because he loves peanut butter and jelly, and that's all he wanted to take for lunch. So I'm like, Amir would like these.
Oh. That's cool.
He would
They
love
are they
those.
I'm
are
having, I'm
delicious.
having a, I'm having
I
a
don't think he's
personal
had
issue.
them yet.
I'm
No,
having a
he has.
He's
personal
had
That's
them.
He
issue
that's
with
had
who
peanut
them?
that's
butter.
who that's who she made them for first.
Oh,
And
Oh,
then
nice.
okay. He
that was
didn't
the
tell me
first person
that.
she made them for. That's the
Okay.
first person she made them for. And I just was like, yo, can you make those again? Those right there.
Well, like I said, we appreciate you guys coming on. This like always when we talk about these topics about black love and
Mhm.
relationships, for some reason they're never easy for people to want to talk and share about. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that most people don't want to talk about it because we take our personal situation and then we be like, I don't want to talk about that. In a negative light instead of a positive light. Everything that we do is a learning experience and learning other people, learning ourselves. So I really appreciate you, D and Sheik, for coming on. Drea, you already, and my co-host, she comes up with these great topics, and we chop it up. And it's always interesting that we basically have a show amongst ourselves before we even do a show. So
Indeed.
she keeps my brain going. So appreciate you guys. Anybody have any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you all, D and She, because I'm learning and I'm not bitter about because I know I'm gonna get remarried. So I'm not bitter about black love. And I said, oh, I'm taking some really amazing tips. And I think a lot of people need to go through the healing process, but it took me to go through therapy, healing, grieving, to have this conversation to say, okay, black love is still amazing. But at the same time, too, you can still learn from people who's in like your age category to say, hey, there's love out there that's for you, but you have to be vulnerable and also heal and understand that you may have to do things differently going into another relationship. So thank you both for exhibiting black love, especially amongst our age group.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having us, and I want to commend you for going on that healing journey, because some people jump out of one situation and go into the next, because
Amen.
I don't even think that they're necessarily in it for the black love. They like the struggle of, they like the I'm a ride or die, you know what I mean? And sometimes you gotta take a step back and love yourself before you can love somebody fully.
Indeed.
Exactly.
And I think another thing too, we got to learn if you're hurt in one relationship, don't bring that to the next
Right.
relationship,
Mhm.
because
There you
that
go.
person is not who you were with before.
Right.
Right.
And if you could, they can do something that other person did, but if they don't know that bothers you,
That is a
you
trigger
can't,
for you.
Mhm.
exactly, you
Right.
can't just get mad at them. You got to let them know, like, hey,
Right.
look,
Right.
I don't like this because of this. And now if they do it again, then that's totally different. But you have to
Mhm.
let them know.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, with that, you guys stay on. We'll have a little chat afterwards, and then we'll. I don't know what else to say, but great show, you guys. Until next time. Until my illustrious co-host says when she gives the when she sounds the alarm, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. If
Yeah.
not, sooner. With that, take care.
Good.
The Poetry Corner.